Thank you very much for coming on the program, Bob. It's good talking to you again.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm having to hit you on my cell phone. My landline has died.
That's all right. Is this Irene related? You still recovering from the storm damage there in North Carolina?
No, I think this is Time Warner's a pain in the butt related.
Well, regardless, we're glad that you're with us, even if it is not on a landline this evening. We can hear you just fine right now. So let me ask, Bob. We learned really within the span of 8 hours. Ken Melson has been reassigned. The acting director of the ATF now kicked upstairs into DOJ in what appears to be a sort of cushy position, senior advisor on forensic science in the Department of Office of Legal Programs for DOJ. The U.S. Attorney for Arizona, Dennis Burke, has resigned, but was given a flowery send-off. It was not, Dennis Burke slinking out the back door because of Fast and Furious, having to hide his head in shame. And now we've got a new interim ATF director who is going to keep his job as the U.S. Attorney for Minnesota. What do all of these things taken together tell you about how the Obama administration is treating Fast and Furious?
It indicates to me that they're running scared at this point.
And why do you say that?
Well, if you look at the fact that Melson has testified once already, and if they try to force him out straight away, like they originally wanted to do, and make him a scapegoat, odds are he would share more of what he knows. So what they did is they gave him the same sort of treatment they give in the private sector to a company VP who knows all the dirty secrets, and they appoint him director of special projects. And, basically guarantee him a pension and sit him over in the corner with no responsibility and no direct reports, and let him, just kind of live out his days, paying him essentially for his silence. Then you turn around and you have Burke, who is just a real slime ball. Not only did he run this on the ground for DOJ, but after Agent Terry's family, wanted to be recognized legally as crime victims, he blocked that to save himself in case he was sued.
You're right, Bob, and I confess we hadn't even talked about that this evening, but that was one of the more recent developments. The family of Brian Terry wanted to have basically victim status in this lawsuit. I mean, it was their son who was murdered, and it was Dennis Burke's decision to deny them crime victim status.
And it gets better. We've got a brand new ATF director, B. Todd Jones.
Yeah.
The new boss, same as the old boss. In August of 2009, he was appointed to chair the Attorney General's Advisory Committee. He was briefed on Gunwalker in October of 2009.
In October of 2009? Well, that was right about the time that Fast and Furious started.
He was in on this well before Agent Terry was killed. They basically put in there somebody else who has a very good reason to keep the silence.
That's a really interesting point, Bob, because it seems clear at this point that the Obama administration is doing everything it can to sweep this under the rug, to make this a non-issue going forward. I think, as you say, they're running scared, desperately afraid that this is going to bloom into the major scandal that those of us who've been following this closely for the past 6 months now realize it is. If they can contain this, and if they can rely on complicit reporters and editors in the mainstream media not to make a big deal out of this, maybe they think that they can skate by until maybe forever, but certainly at least until after the election next year.
Yeah, it's not going to work. I talked to Senator John Cornine's office today.
Yeah.
If you remember, he had asked the holder directly via a letter, is there any truth to rumors that there were type operations being run in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, for a long time, alleged that there are two such operations. If they had no operations, it was a very simple matter to say no. It has been weeks now, and they have refused to respond.
No comment.
No comment. There was also, a mention made a couple of weeks ago that Fast and Furious guns had been recovered at 12 different crime scenes here in the U.S. And the DOJ said, well, we need to revise that. Contacted Senator Grassley's office today. They have not heard a word on that either. These guys are doing anything and everything they can to bury this. And everything we're seeing out of statements from Senator Grassley, Cornyn, and ISA, and there was another representative, or maybe it was a senator, I can't remember which, made a comment today. And all of them indicate that, look, there's more here. This is the tip of the iceberg. It isn't just DOJ. It's also FBI, DEA, and Homeland Security, and we're not stopping until we get to the bottom of this. I think it's really about to break in the mainstream media.
I hope so. Although, again, the coverage, it's one thing to get the mainstream media to actually cover this. It is another thing to get them to cover this accurately. We were talking with Katie Pavlich from Town Hall just a few minutes ago about the phrase that is inevitably used when discussing Fast and Furious, botched. Just like every bad bit of economic news is unexpected in the mainstream media, Fast and Furious is inevitably described as a quote-unquote botched operation or a botched investigation, when really there's no evidence that it was botched. It worked as it was planned. It's just that we weren't supposed to find out about it.
You are entirely correct. There is nothing botched about this operation. Botched is the 2008 election. All this is these guys who are supposed to be journalists, who are supposed to be reporters and be doing investigative work, are not doing the legwork to find very simple things. How can something be botched if you don't have, if you don't investigate to see what the end game was? And these guys are just paying lip service to what the DOJ is telling them.
Yeah.
There is no way this was anything other than a gun running operation.
Absolutely. And we've got that supposed internal investigation, the Office of Inspector General at DOJ, that's been working for 6 months. Now, I got to tell you, what's that?
The activists, but they don't even have a real Inspector General.
Exactly. And yet the DOJ is not even waiting for their own internal investigation to be wrapped up before they start moving these folks around. Which to me says that they already know what the answer is going to be in their report. They're not going to find that any of these people actually need to be fired or disciplined in any way.
Well, yeah, when all the right people decide they're going to cover each other's backsides, especially from somebody who has so little authority as an acting IG, it's a complete whitewash. And unless we get a special prosecutor of some sort in there, or if ISA and Grassley find the smoking gun and get some of these guys to turn, which is which isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
These folks are dirty. That they are associated with anything named justice as a farce.
Hey, Bob, that music unfortunately means we are out of time, sir, but I can't thank you enough for coming on the program, and look forward to doing this again very soon.